All right, it is a regime change in Milwaukee after the Bucks have decided to fire head coach Mike Budenholzer after just 5 years with the team, an NBA championship, and a coach of the year. Man, we're talking about short leases in the NBA, but this comes on the heels of a disastrous playoff performance. The Bucks had the best record in the NBA, and they became the first team to be eliminated by a play-in team, the 8-seeded Miami Heat, taking them down in just 6 games with a full cast of characters for the Bucks. This is a little surprising, but not really if you think about it. This was a disastrous postseason, and that's been kind of the knock on Budenholzer. He did win the NBA championship in 2021, but besides that, a lot of disappointing finishes for Milwaukee. He was 271 and 120 in regular season games with the Bucks, but just 39 and 26 in the playoffs, including 2 second-round bounces and blowing a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2018-2019. So he really has underperformed, and they have the best player on the planet in Giannis Antetokounmpo. So it makes sense that they're going to try and move on, make a splash hiring, but it's kind of crazy in the NBA. 4 of the last NBA champion head coaches, 3 of them have been fired. Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, now Mike Budenholzer. The only one remaining is Steve Kerr with the Warriors, and he's probably the best coach in the NBA right now. I don't see him getting fired anytime soon. Maybe he retires, but that's about it. So it's kind of crazy how fast and how quick the tide turns in the NBA. There is no such thing as job security, even with championship pedigree. Now, I expect Budenholzer to land on his feet, maybe take a year off, maybe have a bench coaching job with another team and then get a head job after next season. But you got to take it seriously, man. He's a very good coach. He has 2 coaches of the year with 2 different organizations, was the coach of the year in Atlanta, but the postseason has where he's struggled. Doesn't do great at in-game adjustments, series adjustments, and just getting his teams ready. Honestly, very underwhelming performance by the Bucks. I mean, this year was an embarrassment. And we have Giannis talking about, was this season a failure? No, it absolutely was a failure. You had the best record in the NBA. You won a title 2 years ago. This was the year to at least get back to the finals, maybe get another ring. But now he's unemployed, and the question is, who are the Bucks going to go after to try and replace him? Because this is a win-now team. They're starting to get a little bit up there in age. Giannis is in the prime of his career as arguably the best player on the planet, but he's disappeared a little bit in some of these postseasons. I can't put all the blame on Mike when the best player in the world disappears sometimes. I mean, he was nowhere to be found in multiple games against the 8th-seeded Heat. Now, the Heat maybe were a little underseeded. They were the number 1 overall seed, and in the Eastern Conference Finals went 7 games with Boston last season. So being an 8 seed this year, they had some injuries. This is still a very good basketball team, and playoff Jimmy is an absolute monster. But I'm interested who's going to replace Budenholzer. I think there's a lot of buzz out there. People are talking about Nick Nurse possibly. He just was fired in Toronto. Another guy who won a title with Kawhi, won Coach of the Year, has very good experience. And the Raptors really weren't a good team. After Kawhi left, there wasn't much anything they could do about the team they had. They made the playoffs a couple of times, but they just weren't very talented. Pascal Siakam never really lived up to the hype we saw in the NBA Finals, where he had a monster series against the Warriors. But a name I would really like you to pay attention to, Tyronn Lue of the Los Angeles Clippers. I think Ty Lue is the name here to go take the Milwaukee job. Now, I know it's tough trying to convince the wife and the family to move from LA to Milwaukee, but this Bucks team is absolutely stacked. Lue has a championship in Cleveland, and honestly, I know he is sick and tired of having to deal with the 2 most unreliable stars in the NBA in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, those 2 guys are so unreliable. Lue keeps taking the heat for these underwhelming playoff performances, getting knocked out in the first or second round, but you can't do anything when your 2 superstars are just out. So why not go to Milwaukee, a team that has a very reliable superstar in Giannis? Get this team to gel together. He won a title with LeBron. He won a title with Kyrie. He should get some credit for that, guys. Went to 4 straight finals with those Cavs teams. So he's a great coach. I consider him probably the 3rd best coach in the league behind Kerr and Spoelstra. Pops is kind of checked out. So I would put Ty Lue as the third best coach in the league. And I think the Bucks need to go out and get a home run hire. Their window is closing fast. They are getting older. Drew Holiday's an older guy. Chris Middleton's always injured as your second guy. Lopez, he's old as shit. So you really got to go in a win now mode. And the East is kind of wide open. Nobody fears the Boston Celtics in late game crunch or the Sixers as one of those teams. Miami's playing the best ball right now, but they're an 8 seed. Do we think they can keep it up? They're very limited. Also a super old team. Kyle Lowry's 100 years old. I don't know how he's still playing at this level. So the East is right there for the taking for a Bucks team that should be more dominant than they have been in recent years. So I think this is a very, very good coaching opening. I think if you're Milwaukee, you got to try and do everything to sway Ty Lue away from the Clippers. Now, I know Steve Ballmer's going to write him that checkbook, but is it worth the headache dealing with Kawhi Leonard? I mean, that's a tall task on its own. It's just an unnecessary headache. From load management to, oh, I finally play, and then I get hurt after being a stud for one game. It's just way too much to deal with. It's not worth the hassle. Go to Milwaukee, go deal with Giannis. He's in the prime of his career. He just works hard. He's trying to get another ring. Maybe Ty Lue is the added bonus that this team needs to take them over the top in the playoffs. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you surprised that Budenholzer got fired? Who would you want to take this job? Is the Milwaukee job a great job, or are they past their window and I would stay clear of this job? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share this video with your friends, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.